Evening, everybody. I know it's going to take a couple of minutes for YouTube to get the notifications out there, but there are a few of you that hang out with me, and yeah, you're waiting for me. 7:30 rolls around, you know Cindy's going to go live, and you're going to pop in. And here's Owen, one of my top moderators here. So if you pop into my live, make sure you pop into the comments. Say hi to my guys. I'm sure Andrew is not too far behind them. And yeah, let's see what the topic of conversation is going to be tonight. Hi, Owen. How's your week been, dear? How have you been doing this week? My emotions have been a little bit all over the place. I've been doing okay. Just a little bit of frustrations, a little bit of anticipation, and I don't like to say expectations, right? Hi, Kathy. Oh, Kathy's here now. Owen's in here. Andrew's in here. Kathy's in here. Awesome, you guys. Thank you so much for popping in tonight. Got to pick a topic of discussion, right? Should we start talking about the trip that I'm going on today? I spent a little time trying to figure things out for this trip. I was kind of hoping that I could get my hands on purchasing a vehicle. I was looking at the Dodge Nitro. They're really inexpensive. They're only an $8,000 vehicle, dependable vehicle, and not too old, like maybe 2010, maybe. And it was a truck that I was looking at maybe 5 years ago. And instead I got the Outlander, but I was really hoping that maybe I could put that money I was going to put down to rent a car to go on my trip. I thought maybe I could swing something where I could actually use that as a down payment on an inexpensive truck, something that when I got back from this trip that we could carry on with the adventures, and we'll figure something out. But yeah, I'm short a few $100s a month in my income, even though my pension kicks in. Are you guys believe that come November, I'm going to have a little pension every month? It's not going to be much. It'll be maybe, $300 or $400, somewhere in that range. But every single month that money will show up now until, well, then I'm 65, I think, and then it gets increased a little bit more, right? And then after that, it's kind of a tiered thing. But that's going to come in handy. But right now, yeah, I'm not somebody who does second jobs, especially when I'm building my brand. That will really, really hurt my brand if I take on a second job. Now, I could do a little bit something on the side, but it's not going to bring in enough money, I think, but if I had a vehicle, now there's some possibilities, and I had no expectations. I know how bad my credit is and everything, but I didn't realize that, my full-time job still wasn't enough money to qualify for the kind of payments I made. Maybe if I made the payments higher every month, because I think I could do $300 a month. I don't want to pay off a loan for any more than 3 years. That's for sure. I want to get it over and done with. So I have to put a little bit of money in. But if I work towards it, right, and then get a vehicle, we'll get our YouTube going on, get our adventures going back on. I really think it's the key. I really think it's the direction I should be moving in, drawing in Mother Nature into my brand. It's the way I started. I think that's what attracted. I mean, for you guys, for most of you guys, that's what attracted you to my channel. That's how we got introduced, is through my adventures, right? So I think it's wise, right? If financially I can manage this, my resources, like, I'm creative, there should be a way that I could figure this out. But yeah, I tried to see if I could qualify for a truck loan today. Didn't quite work out. I'm still going to try, but I have no expectations, and if anything, I have less expectations now that even that it will work. But you know what? I'm going to stay optimistic that something amazing is going to happen, right? But like I said, it would have been nice if I could purchase a car instead of renting a vehicle for a week and then handing over $1,000. I'd much rather use that $1,000 to pay off, the car insurance and the taxes on it. Yeah. Oh yeah, I wouldn't have a problem spending the night in a old abandoned house. That's true. When I was doing those urban explorations, people would ask me all the time, if I ever saw anything haunted or anything spooky. Nothing ever. It was just always very beautiful. It was actually even very calming. And it used to be, a moment for myself, kind of being invited into somebody else's life, because you're going back in time a little bit when you go into these old abandoned places, right? And you use your imagination, and yeah, I thought it was absolutely lovely. I never worried about it. I wouldn't have a problem staying in an abandoned house in the rain or stuff if I had to. I'd much rather have my pop-up tent or my cushions in the back of my car, but yeah. Oh, Angry Birds is in now too. Hello, dear. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to this trip, and I hope everybody at this time is doing a little bit for themselves to try and unwind before we get back into the hairy scary, before things, get not good, like not terrible, more of a struggle, right? And then so when we do want or need to go and treat ourselves well, you feel guilty when everybody else is suffering. But I think this, and I'm taking this as a reward. I'm taking this as a little bit of a break before something bigger and more work. Like, I'm going to put more in, but I need to rejuvenate. Number one. And number two, I have some questions where it concerns my brand and where it's all going and what it is I'm doing on social media and stuff. So it's important for me to do this and to see, right? Because I'm going to be 60 years old this fall, you guys, 60 years old, and still have this kind of energy. Like, this is amazing. Like, and I should take full advantage, because this is a privilege like not a lot of people my age get to have, right? So I'm grateful for my good health. So I would like to experience as much as I can. And because I now have a different kind of mindset, right? Because I think a little bit differently, and because I view the world a little bit differently. And I think my interactions with people can positively impact other people's lives and my own life in a different way that it never has before, right? So I'd like to experiment and experience some of that. So yeah, it's important. It's important that I go on this trip. And yes, I'm going to film it all. I have my old phone camera, which has tons of storage on it. So I'll make sure that's cleared and charged. I have my camcorder, and yeah, and I have lots of memory cards and stuff. So I'm ready with that way. I have my regular phone. Um, I wish I was on Elon Musk's internet service. That would be absolutely amazing, to be able to do my live shows on Instagram every single day. But that might be a little bit difficult. Maybe I could drive into Thunder Bay each morning just to use the Wi-Fi at a McDonald's or something and go live. But I don't know how good it would be. But it doesn't hurt to try. Definitely doesn't hurt to think about it. Think about the possibilities of doing that. Yeah, I really have some ideas here. You can see I have this big reader board right here, and I'm picking topics along the way. So when I go on the road and on this trips, and if I'm inspired by a landscape, or if I want to take a break and go for a little walk along a trail as I'm driving. I'm going to take my time. I'm going to take, the full day to just relax and enjoy the drive there and the drive home. I'm going to give us just as much time into driving home too. I don't want to rush it. Yeah, I really want to make this an experience, and especially because I don't know when I'm going to be able to take another break like this, right? And I want to see if I truly do have that energy, right? Because sometimes the mind has ideas about things, but the body just says, no, Cindy, leave that to the 16-year-olds, right? You just hang out in front of a webcam on your computer, right? But this is stuff that we have to feel out. And because I do have that connection with Mother Nature, and that no matter what, I would want to connect to Mother Nature on some way, even if it's just my road trips or going to visit different cities in North America, or driving down to Mexico, doing little adventures, going to see some of those wonders of the world, right? Maybe not even traveling to across seas, but just staying on this continent, right? I don't know. I don't know what I want to do, but I don't know. I will never know, actually, if I don't go and try and pursue some of these things that I want to do. And I thought maybe I would like to try mining for amethyst. So that's what I'm doing. I'm gonna go mining to Thunder Bay for some amethyst. It should be fun. I don't know if you guys want to get primed for this little adventure I'm going to take us off, because mining for amethyst, it might not have ever crossed your mind ever, right? But there's a YouTuber, his channel's called The Crystal Collector. And if you Google and watch a few of his videos, you'll get a pretty good idea of what I want to do. And I thought this might be another aspect of outdoor adventures that I would enjoy, right? Because, now we got bottle digging going on, we have bushcraft going on, we have urban exploration going on, we have mindset and mindfulness going on. The walk with me with Cindy Jean, right? When I used to go on the trails and out in the forest and just take us for walks and stuff. Yeah, like these are all things that are part of my channel, and yeah, it's a big part. I'm excited about getting back to it a little bit, and yeah, I hope this all falls into place. In fact, I expect that it will. Right? When you say expectations, that's a hard one, right? Because you'd always leave yourself open. Otherwise, you're going to be disappointed when things don't work out your way. But I am optimistic that no matter how it works, it'll be a fun week off. The time is already booked off. It's a paid week. I have a free paycheck the week before that's to take care of the car. Already, I have the gas money for it. I have a little jar that's half full of silver that I'll be taking up and selling for scrap, and that'll be all the munchies and hot dogs and hamburgers to go along with my portable barbecue, my pop-up tent, and maybe we could stop off at a lake and Cindy can get the dinghy going and we can actually go out on the lake. It'll be so much fun, you guys. Oh no, yeah, amethyst comes in all different colors. Actually, I have a picture. My book is right here. I'll show you, Andrew. Amethyst, and this book is all in numeral order. So amethyst is MNO. Here we go. This is what an amethyst looks like. And it is in different shades. That's what I'm going mining for, people. That stone, it's purple. It's a purple, different shades of purple and blues, like a purpley blues, right? But actually, let me read you this. This is what I'm going mining for. 4 weeks from now, you guys, 4 weeks from now, we're going to be hitting the road. I am so excited. I'm so nervous, right? Today, also, I went over to my niece's house And yeah, it was a pretty big chunk, right? It's because, but if I'm going to do this right, I want to make sure that I do this right. And part of that is to make sure that I have really good sound, right? And I apologize talking about sound. I have my air conditioner on right now. We're in the midst of a heat wave in Canada and Winnipeg. We got fires going on. The sky is clear. There isn't much of a wind. I walked for a little while today, and it was hot. But I did walk over to my sister's just to drop some clothes off to one of my other sisters. I was hoping she was going to come by today and pick up some clothes that I got for her, right? Some really pretty things. She's lost a lot of weight in the past couple of years. She's had a pretty rough couple of years, but I called it, right? I told her, I said, Tracy, something tells me, right, that it might be something called leaky spine, right? And this was over a year ago. I told her this, and it's not very common, and it's not something the doctors look for. But because she had gotten in an accident shortly before these pains that she was having showed up, and she's lost over 100 pounds, way over 100 pounds. She's lost maybe 150 pounds in the past year from all this pain and all the difficulties, and the difficulties in our relationship, because our relationship has been strained too, right? So and it's taken a toll on her. And of course, she's she's going through all the symptoms, but she doesn't know what's going on with her. She has no idea. It's just really bad for her, and she's been having a rough time of it, right? And I do feel bad for her, but I can't be pulled into it. I saw her for a little bit last weekend. It was her birthday. It was a lovely time that we spent together, right? But her struggles are apparent, and she tried, and she was very kind, right? And she was very happy to see me, right? But there is that sense of control, and now it's to the point where there's a little bit of feeling sorry for me, and it's hard to see somebody who used to be so strong, that I used to look up to take care of me and to have all the answers and to make sure that life was good, for all of us, right? She'd make a wish, and I would just run around and make it happen, and it was a lot of fun. But it was a lot of stress too. It was a lot of anything that didn't work out, it was my fault, and that bit of personality is still there, but now there's something else. There's that strength is not there. It's very sad to see somebody not strong, right? And when you expect these people, I guess this becomes part of old age, right? When you end up as a mature middle-aged person, and somebody who took care of you, took care of your needs, and watched out for you, and they become like a child, like an older parent, like what Owen's going through, right? Like, with Owen taking care of his mother, it takes away from your life, but it's also got to be emotionally difficult for Owen, because this is his mother. This is the person that took care of him. And yes, he's reciprocating, right? He's giving back to her what she did for him. But at the same time, wow, right? That's a hard one. Oh, William's here tonight. Hi, William. Yeah, we were just talking about my upcoming trip. Yeah. And it could fall flat, or it could be an absolute disaster. There's anything in the world that could be thrown into the wrench of this story and this action, but we're going to adapt, and we're conquer, and we're going to make it an amazing experience no matter what, right? And no matter what, it will be moving forward, right? And also, I have the resources of our Millennium Library here in Winnipeg, and they have the Ideas Mill, which is a project they have at the library, where they have all these technical facilities and equipment for people to use. And one of those things, like they got sound rooms and sound booths and musical instruments. And I wanted to do PrairieDodgers patches. I thought maybe that would be good to go along with my brand. And I actually could use the machine to design, because I even know the fonts I want to use and everything. And I could make patches and I can use all the product because a lot of it's been donated and stuff. And they said, you're welcome to use the colors of the threads and everything. You can use everything as long as there's some there, right? Otherwise, we have to buy our own. But yeah, we can use the 3D machine. We can use the leather sewing machines, the industrial sewing machines. There was so much equipment that I couldn't even begin to tell you what this amazing program that they had at the library. But what they did have is the super duper monster computer system that for the public to use, and it has the Adobe editing systems on them, and so that will make it so it was expensive for me to have my Premiere Pro editing. I can't afford, that $50. That $50 could put groceries in the cupboard for 2 weeks, right? So it's important. 2 weeks, a week, few days maybe, right? But that $50 is needed in much more important things. And I have lots of things I would like to do right now if I had extra money. But because I don't have extra money, I can't be wasting it on stuff. But I've been invited to use the facilities there, and I can edit these videos, these adventure videos that I want to put out. There's Karen here today. Oh, and Kim. Hi, Kim. And William and Owen and Angry Birds and Kathy's here. Yeah, amazing. Yeah, so I was just about here. So, I was reading this about the amethyst. So I'm going amethyst, and if you just popped in, hi, I'm Cindy. I explore the inside and the outside. Sunday nights we've been exploring in the inside and just hanging out with each other, just keeping company with each other, holding each other up during these times that we've had the coronavirus going on, right? And it's been working out great. It's been absolutely working out great. And it helps to occupy time and space that we would, maybe throw at the news. I don't know about you guys, but I haven't been paying too much attention to the news at all. I maybe pop into the nightly news for a great heartwarming headline that they might put out. I might go into the provincial Manitoba or into the Canada site just to see how we're doing with the coronavirus. I've always had concerns of what's been going on in India where it concerns the virus. So I've been kind of keeping a half eye. I haven't been in there this week, but keeping a half eye on what's going on in India where it concerns the coronavirus, right? Oh, Brian, is that ever nice of you to say? Yeah, we're going on a trip on September. Well, I plan on leaving on the 13th, which is the Monday morning, and I plan on filming the entire trip and putting out there. I'm actually going mining for amethyst. And again, if you're just popping in, this is amethyst. It's a purple crystal. And they hang from the ceiling. They actually have caves. They have something called the crystal cave. And you go in there and the crystals actually hang from the ceilings. And I've never been mining before. And I don't know. Well, I know why I chose amethyst. Number one, it's one of my very favorite crystals. And I thought maybe it might go well with my brand as something to sell, right? As a product. Because I'm supposed to be representing entrepreneurs, and I should have a little bit of business, because if I have a little bit of a business that would help support my channel, then I wouldn't have to work full time, and then more time could be devoted to my brand and doing a little bit better, getting that vehicle, right? But it's just keep moving towards it, and I just gonna have to trust that things will fall into place as long as I just move in to what I need. Yeah, but they say the name is derived, amethyst, the name is derived from the Greek word amethion, meaning not drunk. The Greeks wore an amethyst for protection against magic, homesicknesses, evil thoughts, and drunkenness. This is why wine is preferably served in amethyst beakers. Buddhist monks in India use amethyst to help them meditate. Hildegard van Bingen, whoever he is, used amethyst with success to treat skin blemishes and tumors and to ensure soft facial skin. Place under one's pillow, it prevents nightmares, right? And there's a whole bunch of information here, and it actually has inclusions in it, and it talks about the different iron levels of those inclusions in the crystals. And yeah, they're worth a little bit of money. And I pay by the pound, right? So the price per pound is pretty good, considering what I think I can get for them online if I could dig out some really nice ones. And you always have that opportunity to pick out something absolutely amazing, maybe something terminated where there's like pointies on both end of it or something, you know? Yeah. But I think just the experience of the trip. But the whiteboard, like I was saying, the whiteboard behind me is actually for the topics that I want to discuss, right? Those mindset ones, so that when I'm driving and I come across an amazing, landscape, and I want to take a little bit of a break, or I want to go for a hike in the forest, or I want to sit on the lake shore, or I want to walk along the river, that I could take some time and sit down on a rock or something and have a discussion about some of these important things that run across our minds, that, some of the obstacles that get in our way in our movement forward in our lives, right? Some of the solutions that I found handy dandy along the way, because we've all had different experiences, and depending on our experiences are going to determine the gifts that you can bring to the table, right? And I think coming from a dynamic family and having some very diverse and dynamic kind of experiences through the course of my life, I think I would probably qualify to divvy out a little bit, right? Now, isn't that interesting, Andrew? That's interesting to know. Hmm. Yeah, but isn't it? Yeah, so supposedly there in Thunder Bay, there is a crystal cave. And when you go inside, just all the ceiling, all across the ceiling, and amethyst kind of grow like this from the ceiling, right? So this is a crystal here. So it'd be like this, hanging from the ceiling. Isn't that a beautiful one? This crystal here, I actually got at work. It was donated at work. It actually came on a display stand, this here. Rah. And it was locked in place, and it was displayed on this, right? When I bought it, and I got it for $2.50. I was very lucky enough that day to be able to have it on me. And the president of the Mineral and Crystal Society here in Manitoba, he was a university professor. He actually came into the store, and I showed him my crystal, and he inspected it. He oohed and awed, and he said it was a beautiful specimen, and he said it was worth hundreds of dollars, so something like that, especially with this trip coming up. I do have some pieces that I got some good stores. I have my Inuit painting that's worth a few $100s that I got for $5. I could sell that, with $1,000 selling that. And this, I have a Inuit card. I do. Maybe it's still possible that maybe I could pick up something cheap in the way of I got a car on my mind today. Like it's just not leaving my mind. I'm trying to figure out the solution for a vehicle, because I don't want to just give my money away for a rental and then not have anything to show for it at the end of the week. It sure would be amazing if I could add into that pool of goodness and actually buy a vehicle outright. And if I can't come up with $8,000, maybe I can come up with $2,000 and just maybe get a car, right? Something safety, something inexpensive. Even that's better than nothing, right? Because then I can actually do some sourcing, right? And pick up more amazing things that can move me forward, right? And add on to that idea that I'm some kind of entrepreneur. But you never know. So yeah, amethyst, I expect that we're going to find crystals like this, but in different shades of purple. Yeah, it's going to be lots of fun. Mother Nature, trails, chit chat. Now, I don't know about campfires, you guys, because all across Canada, you know it, we've got fire bans going on. So there is no fire. We need a desperate amount of rain, and we have not had much rain all year. Since spring, we have not had much rain at all. It is drizzled for a few minutes and basically stops. I'm surprised that the trees are even green this year. It's been so hot. And that cigarette smoke is suffering, right? Because, the trees, they breathe in our dioxide. Oh, which is what I guess the smoke is, but they're dying in the fires, right? Because the fires are consuming them. There's over 300 fires in BC, and I heard California's got fires. I heard Greece and Turkey have got fires going on. Really, really bad ones, right? Yeah. So this is kind of the thing that I'm saying, like, yeah, if you're going to do something relaxing, if you're going to take some time to enjoy your life, to make you feel like you're a human being and feel like you're part of this world and life is good, now's the time to do it, right? Before the real difficulties show up and you get bad or you feel guilty for even taking a break for any reason at all. Now's the time to do it 100%. Yeah, we've got, oh yeah, pull up our pants, people. It's coming. I have no idea. Well, I could take guesses, but they would only be guesses, right? Yeah, and that's why I'm kind of saying things like that. I wish I could get onto Elon Musk's internet service because he could make sure that we stayed up and running even if we all went off the grid, if we all got shut down, right? Yeah, you guys know where to find me. I'll be at Black Lake. Yeah, or I'll be at the fort, right? So one or the other, you guys can find me. Start trekking with all the poop hits the fan. All right, Cindy let's go let's go hang with Cindy, right? We could have our own little community. And every day would be a Sunday. All hanging out with each other. Oh, we would probably drive each other crazy, wouldn't we? $100. Oh, thank you, Brian. That's really nice of you to say. And that's what it's about too, and for sure, any abandons that I come across that I will be stopping. I will be, and even on my way out, just outside the city, as we're just going, like I know of places that I've already explored, like it doesn't hurt to stop and see how those buildings have progressed in the years that we've been away, right? Open to the elements. But there are a whole new generation of abandoned showing up. There's a lot of ranches, the 1970s ranches and stuff, ranch housing that are now being abandoned, right? Because as the farms accumulate land, they have their own homes on an adjacent plot of land, right? So they don't want the house on that other piece of land, so they end up using it for storage, or they rent it out, or it just sits there empty until eventually it's in such bad condition that it's not worth investing any money and it becomes an abandoned, right? Oh, okay. So we don't have to worry about fires in New York. That's nice to know, right? That it's not all over North America. And I made a mistake last week when I was showing everybody outside. I was talking to my friend Barty in Turkey, and I was showing him our city, my big picture window, and how beautiful it is out there. But how everything was just covered in smoke. And I says, all this smoke is from British Columbia, right? But that wasn't true at all. It was actually a lot of those fires in Manitoba too. But because I don't spend a lot of time in the news, right? That information didn't get to me. So, we do have our own struggles here too. And this heat wave has not let up. There might have been a couple of days where it kind of spit for a little while and brought the temperature down maybe a couple degrees, but it stayed hot and muggy pretty much the whole time. Another reason why I like my job, because boy, my building where I work, we have really good air conditioner. It was really nice. I got back on the till this weekend, and yeah, it was a fun day, and yeah, we hit the quotas the boss wanted, and everybody was in a good mood. Except the night before, I stayed up all night and I made egg salad sandwiches for everybody. Everybody where I work with, they're so kind, right? My manager will dress the homeless people. Homeless people will come in and say, we're poor, I have no money, but I really do need a change of clothing. And my boss will dress them. She's so nice, right? She'll dress them. And then my other manager, a homeless person will do the same thing. He'll give them a pair of underwear and, a couple of pairs of pants or something, whatever the season requires. Maybe it's a new pair of shoes or something. Sometimes people forget their wallets and stuff, and one of us at work will cough up the money to pay for whatever the purchase was because they lost their wallet. Just little kindnesses like that. We all take our turns, and then it's my little demon angel, that Shani, right? She's one of the little girl, or she's not a little girl, she's an adult, but she's so sweet, she's so cute, right? But she's a little demon too at the same time. And she bakes for us. She brings in cupcakes and sugar cookies, and yeah, always keeping us off our diets and stuff. But she made cinnamon buns last week, and I thought, oh, Cindy, it's your turn, right? And one of the gentlemen I work with has never had deviled eggs before. And I said, you've never had deviled eggs? And he says, I don't even know what they are. I says, oh, they're just boiled eggs cut in half with relish and mayonnaise, and they're all mashed and put back inside the half egg and a little paprika on top, and you eat them like that. And he goes, oh, that sounds really good. So I made him a great big tray, like a dozen eggs, and I all deviled eggs them. And I said, oh, but if I'm going to do this, might as well be my time to do a kindness, right? So I decided I was going to make egg salad sandwiches for everybody. So I went out and got buns and boiled, I got one of those 30 packs, a whole flat of eggs, and I boiled the half a flat of eggs, if you consider the almost full package that I already had in the fridge, and I boiled all of those. And yeah, I made 2 plates of egg salad sandwiches, and everything got ate, and it was my turn, right? But we do kindnesses, and that's what makes those little things that make our job fun, right? That we're kind of like a team. And we are a team there. Even the manager, she met us on Saturday morning before we opened up the store. She kind of took a poll, right? I guess a majority kind of rule. And she says, Sydney, what do you feel about the mask? She says, I said, oh, if it's okay with you, can I wear my mask? Because, I know one of the girls has only gotten one of her vaccinations. They have parents that are more mature, that are very elderly, and I would like to keep some of my customers emotionally feeling well, like a nice transition. I know my mayor would appreciate that contribution at the same time. And maybe I would encourage others by them seeing me wear my mask, that I might encourage others to maybe keep their masks on just for a little bit while longer, just so people can become accustomed, right, to this way of life that we've been living for these past 2 years, right? Let's slowly transition, not shock people, because it's that sudden shock of things. We've been living a certain way for a couple of years now, right? So it's important for us to move back into normalcy, or some form of normalcy, right? That we do it slowly. And I want to make sure that those people, even though they haven't gotten their vaccines, that I'm being considerate to them too, right? That, even though I don't get illness, and it doesn't say that I won't get the variant, right? But But for now, I want to stay safe. And being the kind of person that I am, being an introvert on for the most part, except for that little bit of socializing that I do at work, right? Um, yeah, I'm on my own. So I don't get sick very often. The last time I got sick was over 2 years ago, when I got a real wicked flu that lasted a couple of weeks. Oh boy, it was a bad one. But I hadn't been sick before that for over 10 years, for over 10 years. So, yeah, I would like to make sure that everything is fairly stable, fairly safe, that people are transitioning well, that we're not shocking people and we're not forcing people into their vaccines because they don't have a choice, right? That I'll be respectful of them just to give them enough time to make, their own decisions for themselves, because it's a choice that each of us get to have when it comes to that vaccine, right? You can't judge people for not having the vaccine. And at the same time, you have to remember, if they do get sick and if you happen to be that person to pass them on, don't beat yourself up. Don't blame yourself for passing it on, because it wasn't your choice not to have the vaccine. Everybody gets their own choices in life, right? Yeah. Mm. Kind of pooped myself out today because I went for a long walk. I went to my sister's. I did some chores. I got my bus pass, spent some more money on a few things, made sure that the cat was taken care of, that the cat food was there. The only thing now that I have to pick up is, I think, toilet paper and laundry soap. I think, and I'm good for the next 2 weeks. Then I can just buckle down and not spend any more money. It's going to be really great with this microphone. I left money for my niece, and she's going to order it for me. It's actually wireless, and you plug one part of it into the phone, and I have a Pixel too, so it's specially made for my Pixel, and then the other one's a lavalier, and I just clip it here, and I can actually film myself on my tripod up to 20 meters away, and this one that I get makes it so as long as there's no obstacles in front of me, I can actually turn around, because lots of them you can't turn around and walk away from the camera because they'll be static. But on this one that I'm buying, you actually can do it. It's made specifically for filming outdoors, and it'll block out the wind. The sound will be really good, right? Because if I've got to be pretty close to my camera when I'm filming, otherwise you're not going to hear me properly, right? Even if I do have my headset on, or even if I do have my microphone plugged in, I've only got 3 feet. I only have a meter of cord. I can only go away a meter, right? Otherwise, it's not going to be with anything, and I will have to speak really, really loud in order to get my message across, and I won't sound genuine. It won't sound good, and sound is really important to me, right? Just reading the comments here. Yeah. I don't know. Andrew and Angry Birds, they communicate. It's amazing, Andrew, the way he just jumps in and how he can have these conversations with all kinds of people, right? But he has that very analytical and kind of encyclopedia in a complimentary kind of way, right? Because it's so smart, right? Like, how you talk about a movie, and all of a sudden he'll know who the actors are, who produced the movie, what year it was made. And to be able to have a mind like that, and to be able to have that mind on my brand, very useful too. We usually get quite a lot of use out of Andrew's brain, right? He's a very smart man. He's a very smart man. Yeah, but he's managing great in some of these conversations that I just don't get, right? I don't know what a penetrator /10 is, or an alertor, right? I don't know these terminologies, but yeah, but it seems like Andrew is keeping up to that. So what's new with everybody else going on? This is enough about my trip coming out. Let's put some hand cream on. Do you guys get this in the States? This gentleman Watkins is known for their spices. And in the old days, in the 40s and 50s, even before that, maybe in the 20s and 30s, it was door-to-door salesmen used to go from door to door and sell spices. And I remember the Watkins, man. And I remember my mom always would try to buy one thing. Usually it would be cinnamon or something, right? From a Watkins product if the guys would knock on the door, right? Only because yeah, she loved these things, but they weren't things that we could afford. Watkins, even way back then, was very expensive. And I got this hand cream at work. I only paid $1 for it, and there were 2 tubes, right? So one of the girls I worked with and me picked this up. But listen to this: no silicones, no parabens, no phthalates, no formaldehyde, no dye, no EDTA, whatever that is, no animal testing. It's made with shea butter, cocoa butter, jojoba oil. It's a hand cream that is 98% natural. And this one is lemon cream, and it actually smells like lemon. Now that's what I was asking, if you guys have the Watkins products, like this Watkins products in the States. I'd be curious to know if you guys do. Yeah, I like these brands. Come down here. Oh, the university. The kids are getting ready to go back to school. You know what? I was at the high school. I was at the mall across from the high school, and I noticed there were lots of students. Oh, okay. Yeah, I was curious to know. I know Watkins is very popular here in Canada. I know that for sure. And I know they go way, way, way back, right? But it was a door-to-door salesman thing, and they'd have their samples in their cases, kind of like the Avon of the 20s and 30s. And probably that's how Avon came up with the idea, right? Because it was in the same kind of league as the Hoover man, right? Remember the vacuum guys that would go door to door? Please say that you remember the guys that sold vacuums door to door, because I remember those guys too, right? But it's the same kind of idea, right? I guess those were the entrepreneurs, weren't they? They were the original entrepreneurs. Yeah, but it smells amazing. It smells like lemons. It's so soft on the hand. I just love it. And I paid 75 cents or $1 for it with a little staff discount, maybe 50 cents, right? That's incredible. And I'm sure this was at least $20. I'm sure this would have been at least $20. But like I said, me and one of the girls each got a tube. And sometimes these products come in, and I'll have the opportunity to grab one or two, but they're pretty popular, so you have to move pretty fast. So on the norm, I don't get these kind of things because the customers get to them before I do. Yeah, I only notice them when they come up to the till, and then you see a bit of disappointment in my face because, I didn't get to it before somebody else did. But there are things that I do get to, because this crystal here was one of those items that I got to before anybody else. He just priced it, and it went into the cart. The moment my boss come up to me, and she goes, "Okay, Cindy, time for your lunch break." And I went, "Oh," because we're only allowed to shop on our breaks, right? And happened to be my break, and it happened actually that day that she asked me to come in early, because normally I wouldn't get a lunch break because it would only be a 6-hour shift. But because she asked me to come in early, it turned out to be a full day. And when she told me to go on my break, he just dumped it into the cart, just finished pricing it. And yeah, I'm allowed to shop, so I just picked it up right away. I said, "Mine." I looked at the price, $2.15. Thank you very much. I'll take that. Thank you very much. And I was pretty excited. I get crystals and rocks all the time. I got some amazing. Let's pull some of these over here, and I'll show you some of these. I have a few, and I don't know. I have some geodes too, and I don't know where they are. I've been looking for them, but I don't know where they are. Whoopsie. I have this one here, and it's full of little teeny weeny. I don't know if I can get it to go clear or not. There we go. It's got a whole bunch of little teeny weeny little crystals in it. But you can't really see it. This one here, do you guys know what this one is? Can I get it clear? Maybe I'm too close to it. It's my head. Here, put my head there. Cover my head. Maybe it's clear. It's pyrite. This one's pyrite that I have here. This one is some rose quartz. This one here is a crystal. It's called rose quartz. It has a pink hue to it. It's clear with some pink hue to it. I have a moon rock. This is they call it a moon rock. This one here, and it's a polished moon rock. This one here is a beautiful specimen. This is a polished rolled stone crystal quartz, and it's a teeny weeny one, and it's crystal clear. The sun's going down in my greasy fingers because I was putting hand cream on my hands. Then I have some of these ones. Now I forget what they called this rock. Oh, I forgot what it was called. They had a fancy name. I had to research it because I think this is the same rock as this one here, but this one had a little angel on it. And then this one was really odd because I did research on this. If anybody knows what this is, it's very specific in its color. If you can tell me what it is, it kind of has this creamy lime green look to it. And on top of that, it looks like copper inclusions running through it. Now, if anybody recognizes that stone, I would love some information because I tried to research it, and this was something that came into the store. And of course, I want to have first dibs on the rocks and the crystals if I can, because I know it's not always going to be the possibility because I have customers who like them. I have other staff members who like the rock. Oh, they don't like the rock so much, but they certainly do like the crystals. And then the last one I have here, this is my antique marble, and this is they call this I forgot, a pontoon. The little chip, see that chip on the bottom? That's because this would have been hand blown. This piece of glass would have been hand blown, and then they would have knocked that piece of glass off at the end. So it has a little, what they call a pontoon. And on the other end, it's just a little bit of an indent to where the prong was holding on to it when they were molding it, right? Yeah, beautiful little marble. Well, it's a fairly large marble, this one here, but it's an antique one, and I like it, so I let it sit with the rocks. But I sure do love my pyrite. Can you imagine if that was a real piece of gold? Ooh, that would be so exciting. My mother and her girlfriend, my mother and her girlfriend were in Hamilton, Ontario, and they had discovered a gold vein while they were exploring, and a mining company actually bought the rights off of them, and they ended up traveling on train across Canada and everything, and that's how they actually ended up, I think, in BC. Now I'm wondering if I'm getting my mother and my grandmother mixed up in this story here. It's quite possible that I'm getting my mother and my mother or my grandmother, and I wonder how I can confirm this story. I would actually have to look at gold finds or something. Yeah, but my mother said, I think it was my mother, because I remember my mother saying that they spent money on fancy clothes and traveling on trains, and it lasted for a year or two, all this money, and then it was all gone, right? So yeah, but I do remember it was in the Ontario Hamilton area that they did find these gold mines, and I do know that they wasted money on clothing and trips traveling across Canada. Yeah. But they did. They sold it. They sold the rights to a mine. That would be so cool. And they just found it. It wasn't even on their land or anything. They just found it when they were exploring and stuff. Yeah, but I guess they could have kept it to themselves, and they could have bought the property rights or something and had their own mine. But yeah, there must have been an awful lot for them to even to consider to buy my mom and her friend out that way. Yeah, so what else we doing? So I did work on the car today. I'm working on the new topic. The new topic that I'm working on this weekend is communication about influencing, and I actually wrote it right down here in the topics: influencing and impact. And I take a lot of notes, right? And I write it on the whiteboard, and I leave it up during the week, and I reread it, and I practice it, right? Because I know the story will change, because I want to do my lessons kind of in a point form. So know the information, but in the moment, by the landscape that's inspiring me, or the event that just happened or transpired, that I'm able to draw up the topic that way. But I want to be down packed in the information that I have to make sure that the topics are covered, the important topics are covered. And these will be my lessons going forward. I'm going to try and do 8. But David's here. Is David truly here? Oh, David, how are you doing, dear? That's so sweet of you for coming in. It's been a long time. I hope you are doing really, really well. I hope you're doing really well, dear. Oh, now isn't that a blessing? Isn't that a blessing? Thank you, David. Thank you, David, for that. I hope all is well for you. I hope your congregation is doing well. Have you been able to get vaccinated? David is a monk, right? A Franciscan monk in Mexico. He has his congregation. How has your congregation been going, David? And did you ever get that icon that I sent you? Did it make it to you? Did the mail finally deliver it? I would love to know if that was the case. And let me know in the comments if you didn't, because I have another gift, and then I would send it to you, and we could try again if you wanted to try again, because I now have something else that I would love to send to you if you didn't get the icon. But I would love to know if you did get the icon, if it finally did show up, right? Oh, do you, Kathy? Yeah, so they go much older then, I guess. Maybe the 1800s. Oh, Jonathan is here too. Hi, Jonathan. I know Jonathan is being responsible in his job, right? So he gets to bed quite early. But yeah, Jonathan, thank you for popping in. And William popped in, Owen, Kathy, right? William and where's Melvin tonight? Angry Birds is here. Kathy's here. Yeah. And that's the thing. We don't pay enough attention, Everybody's saying, and you take a look at my brand and stuff, and you see that the numbers are almost the same numbers as I had 2 or 3 years ago, right? And you wonder that everybody who shows up on Wednesday, and I love these people, like I love these people to death, right? And lots of people, they're all about bringing on the new subscribers, bringing on, and we all would like to imprint on lots of people, right? We all want that big following. That's why we are online and stuff. But I think that people miss the mark quite a bit, because I truly believe that you should pay attention And I'm not meaning, listen to them, do as they say. I mean, pay attention, take interest, right? Put yourself in their shoes. Ask the questions of why, out of all the time that they have in their lives, that they love you enough to give an hour and a half of their time every week to you. And I know Kathy does a lot more of that because Kathy is with me over on Instagram too, and she watches my posts there. It finds me quite interesting. I had a little bit of an up and down week this week. I found I had to do a couple of lives this week by myself, right? I was just not in flow at all. And yet I did my live today, and I thought today I was in it today. Like I was bang on. And then I think of the live that I did yesterday, and I compared them, and I'm going, holy cow, it's like two different people all together, right? And that's because, well, I have to pick up the slack. I got to realize and I got to understand that Spirit is not with me all of the time, right? That Cindy sometimes has to fill in those gaps when Spirit doesn't hang out with us, right? And so sometimes that's why it's entertainment, right? And then sometimes it's lessons, and sometimes it's explores, and sometimes it's chit chats, right? Sometimes I'm crying the blues, and sometimes I'm exuberant, right? And overly excited. But it's all evolution. I'm a true believer. That's all that it is. Doing the best that we can in our lives. Just not giving up on ourselves. I've had friends in my life who just gave up, like literally just said, I can't stay in this world one more moment. My uncle was one of those people, right? I didn't get to know my uncle. I have a picture of me and him. I'm sitting in his hand and he's playing with me, throwing me up in the air and stuff, but I don't remember my uncle. He killed himself in his early 20s, right? He had depression, he had problems, right? And those problems ended up rubbing my dad, rubbing my grandmother, totally heartbroken, right? And this is what we do, right? When we leave people behind, the heartbreak that we leave behind when we make these decisions for ourselves. And that's the thing, we get to make those choices. And he made that choice to not want to be here anymore. And he just decided to leave. But I think, if he knew it was his soul's journey, right? That all his problems, all his issues, right? It was because his soul wasn't getting it. He wasn't quite there, wasn't inspired to take the lessons or to understand it was about moving forward, that it was about evolution, right? I think my friend Brian, who did the exact same thing, right, in a different way, but he didn't want to be here either. And he made that choice, and he made a difficult choice that hurt a lot of people, right? Made people sit in guilt and shame that they never should have sat in. Made people miss their best friends, right? Miss their best friends, their family, right? I miss Brian a lot, but I know Brian too. I know his heart. I knew him. I knew this guy inside out, his good faults and his bad faults, right? And yes, we knew he had problems, but we all have problems. We all have struggles. And sometimes we're just polite and we pretend we don't see it. And I think that's where that guilt and that shame comes from, because when they're gone, we can't say, oh, I wish I had done this, right? I knew he was struggling. I could have been with him when he was struggling, but struggling brings us down, right? Right? I'm just so grateful that, his brother, his own brother, my brother-in-law, right? That it was a miracle that he didn't get back, because he was a drinker, right? And he didn't go back to drinking, that he held his own. And like, that is like the most courageous thing ever, to be able to maintain sobriety in a time when you just want to break down, when you just want to give up, and yet you stick to it, right? That's courage, that's strength, right? That's moving forward. Right? Lots of people would give up. And he never gave up, and that's absolutely amazing. And I think too, some of these people in my life that did give up, that just said, right, forget it, this is too painful, I don't want to be here, and gave up. If they knew what the journey really truly was about the evolution of the soul, that they would have stuck around and they would have made it their purpose, right, to befriend their soul, to move forward, right, to imprint in a positive manner instead of bringing such heartbreak and, right, that epigenetics, that stuff that carries over from generation to generation. Ah, busy, busy. I have, well, I don't know if you want to try something else, David. I mean, I have something else I would love to send to you if you want to give it another shot. But I don't know, the icon didn't get to you. Like the icon didn't get to you, and I don't know if it got stopped at the border or somebody stole it. I mean, if somebody stole it, I mean, they needed it, right? It was something they needed or they wanted to give somebody. So I'm not going to attach any negative thoughts or negative feelings towards them or to the icon, right? I want the icon to bring about miracles and bring love and, right, any kind of goodness to somebody's life. So of course, right, we're going to clean that mess up, right? So whoever has it, I hope they get a lot of joy out of it, that it brings some peace of mind at the very least. But yeah, that's unfortunate that that happened. I was pretty excited about you getting it, David. I really love that you popped in. I really love that you popped in today. Oh, that is right. But we feel bad because then we think like, could we have done more, right, Andrew? Like you wonder, like, could we have done more? And yes, we could have, right? We could have made those movements, but we can't beat ourselves up. We have to know that the only way that we can move forward is just by forgiving the situation and forgiving ourselves and just moving forward. You can make retribution if you feel you need to make retribution, but I truly think people beat themselves up more than they really need to, right? More than they really should. I do believe that. And that's true too, Big Andrew, because Andrew was just saying that his aunt used to be a social worker, and she said that some people just don't want help. And that's what they're saying about the people, the homeless people, right? That these people don't wanna help, right? Have a great night, Jonathan. Take care of yourself. Maybe we'll see you next Sunday, dear. Thank you for popping in. Yeah, that the homeless, they actually don't want any help. That they're perfectly happy to live that nomad kind of free bird kind of life. And I see the attractiveness in homelessness, right? Not answering to anybody, not having any expectations for yourself, whether it was keeping yourself fed or keeping yourself clean or contributing to the world in a positive manner in any way, right? That's the lazy way. That's the lazy way. You're not contributing to anything because I think we are meant to be in this world to inspire each other, right? Like each one of you inspire me. Like every time you show up and I go, wow, you guys, you don't have to be here on Sunday nights. And yet every Sunday, here you are contributing in the comments. And I get all these amazing characters in my lives. And yet you hang with them. You keep them company. You make them feel welcome, right? So that's why I say sometimes we spend more time trying to build up new viewers, new followers, new subscribers, when in actuality, we should just be keeping company with the people who are showing up, right? The people who are with us, keeping connected. Like me and Andrew email, O&O emails. I get little gifts every once in a while from Kathy and Andrew, and right, and I pass off a few, like my walking sticks. They scoot off. I'm sanding your stick, Andrew. I am sanding it. I realize I only have 4 weeks left, people, before I go on this trip. Only 4 weeks. So I did apply for credit in getting a vehicle. I have to figure out a way to increase my income. Gotta take a moment. For those of you who don't know, I live right behind a fire station, and I do quite often have the trucks go by with their sirens and their lights going off, and yeah, it can be disheartening, right? Even especially I live in one of these buildings, and we have a couple hundred people who live in the building that I live in. I would think about a couple hundred, maybe 150 people live in this building, and quite often these trucks are in front of my building, and I look out my window and I wish them well, right? But I know that there's a lot of people who are ill in this building. There's a lot of wheelchairs and walkers, a lot of very senior people, low income, right? This is what this building that I'm living in is for the low income 55 plus. It was the only reason that I got into this building. Well, my sister wasn't quite 55, but she managed to get grandfathered in, and she got into this building before she hit 55. But yeah, I got into this building, and oh, I'm grateful. I almost ended up homeless last year, you guys. I'm never going to forget that experience in my entire life, right? And I will never let myself get to that point again. But I am frivolous. I am flighty. I'm a bit of a free bird myself, and going back to the homeless people, right? And how they are attracted to that lifestyle, right? That gypsy living, right? Because in Ireland and stuff, the gypsies, they'll just put blockades. They'll pick a block in a city or a town or a village, and they'll put blockades on each end of the street, and they'll make their whole street their new campsite, right? And they end up having their trailers and caravans and all their garbage, and they set up on the pavement on the road with all their patio furniture and stuff, and they'll pick up a whole block, and they'll just stay there until the police come and haul them away. And it's such common thing to happen that it takes a long time to clear out a gypsy village. It takes a long time. But those gypsy weddings, do you ever watch those television shows, Gypsy Wedding? They have them online every once in a while. And boy, the dresses those ladies have, right? But it's their one opportunity to be princesses because they're trained, right? They have a way of living. They have customs and traditions. We talk about that on Instagram a lot, right? And they take care of their men, right? Certain way of living. Here in North America, women are so lucky, right, to be able to be as independent as they want to be, right? Not to be under the rule of a man's thumb. It's amazing. It is amazing. I look at it out there, and it is a privilege, because I know a lot of countries, the women are ruled over. They're ruled with a really squashed down thumb. This is the way it goes, and patterns and traditions passed on from generation to generation, and with no hope for movement, right? The only way is to be reborn into a different culture or something and get a new taste for life. Yeah, this North America, the way we live, it could easily, it's volatile that way, right? Because it's so diverse, right? So diverse in our thinking and in our acceptances that, okay. How did it? Oh, I sent it Canada Post. But Yeah, I'll write it down here. Um, because FedEx. I could try FedEx. I really could. I have your address still. But what I have here, before anybody goes, let me just show you what I was thinking that I would send to you. Because I am sending one to Andrew. One belongs to Andrew. But this is what I have, David. And, I could send one to you. I'm sending one to Andrew. It's Mother Mary, right? Isn't this beautiful? It's some kind of mosaic art of Mother Nature, and it was donated to our store. And I thought they were so beautiful. They're actual pictures, if you could see, little old pictures, right? But they get mounted on the wall. And when you popped in tonight, and I know you were supposed to get that icon, and it didn't make it to you. I could try again. And when I send Andrews out to him, right? Maybe at the same time, I could send yours to David, right? And then both of them are going to new homes. I mean, there's no need for them to be together because they're almost identical, aren't they? If you actually look at them, you can see that they're right a little bit differences in the way they were painting, but when you look at the patterns and how they were placed, you can see that they're almost identical. So yeah, I would love to send one of those. If you like that, David, let me know, and I would be happy to mail that out to you when I send Andrews out there. But for now, it's sitting up on my fireplace. It's being displayed up on my fireplace. Oh, they just came in last week. They give us 24-hour notice here in the building, Andrew, before they'll do an inspection. And yeah, they just inspected our fire alarm system and our carbon monoxide system. I'm really surprised, though, that this being a senior building, that they don't have proper exhaust over the stoves, right? Because my fire alarm is constantly going off. It doesn't take much smoke at all. It's very sensitive. I'm glad they're sensitive, right? Because then it could catch a problem before it becomes really, really bad. But at the same time, yeah, when you have lots of seniors, all it takes is one person. In the old days, we'd worry about people having a cigarette and falling asleep on the couch with a cigarette, right? People aren't smoking like they used to smoke. Smoking is not such a big deal, I think, as it used to be. Things phase out, right? We pick up habits, and over time we slowly move ourselves away from these bad habits, and they no longer become the norm, right? Like, look, you can't go into a restaurant anymore and sit at the restaurant and have a cigarette in a restaurant. You just won't see that happen anymore anywheres in the world, in actuality. And it wasn't too long ago, because I used to do a lot of managing restaurants, and I actually managed a Perkins restaurant. They're very popular in the States, but we have them here up in Canada too. And I used to manage a Perkins restaurant, and I would be hostessing at night and greeting people at the door, and I'd have a cigarette hanging from my face. And yes, Cindy smoked. I haven't smoked in 10 years, and it was a miracle how I quit too, because every night I would go to bed and I'd say, this is my last cigarette. I'm never going to have another cigarette ever. And then I'd wake up in the morning, the first thing I would do, I would have a cigarette. And then my sister Tracy, she asked me, what did I want for Christmas? I says, oh, I want to quit smoking. I really, really want to quit smoking. I don't know if I can. I can't afford to smoke, And by that time, I was starting to not be able to keep jobs after my marriage fell apart. And, right, I was wasting money, $300 a month on tobacco or on cigarettes every single month. That was a big chunk of money. That's the $300 I'm short right now to add on to my income to be able to qualify to get a car, right? But yeah, I would spend that kind of money on smoking cigarettes. And I said to my sister, I says, oh, I would sure love to quit smoking. And then when she gave me my stocking, at Christmas. She had all 3 steps, so I quit on the patch. And on Boxing Day, I put on my first patch, and I quit smoking that day. And it was so easy with the patch. I never had a nicotine fit. The only time that I had a little bit of an issue was the day that I stepped down to the 2nd degree, because you do 2 weeks of one patch, and then you do 2 weeks of a lower version of the nicotine patch. But that one day that you switch over, right? And that was a tough one. And I just say, stay away from me. I'm going to kill somebody. And for 24 hours, you're pretty wiry. But after the 24 hours, you settle into the new step on the patch. And I went through 2 more weeks on that patch, and I flew through that. And I thought, I'm never going to have another cigarette. But I had the third, because you have to do 3 stages, right? And each stage takes 2 weeks. So the process takes 6 weeks to quit smoking. So I went on the 3rd set of patches, and I felt like already that I had quit smoking, that I would never have another cigarette again. But I did about a week of the 3rd set of patches, but that whole week I thought I didn't need it. So at the end of the week, when it was time to put the last patch on, I just said, no, I'm done. Or the last set, because I think every day I had to change my patch, right? I just said, I don't need to do the patches anymore. I'm never going to have a cigarette. So after being a smoker for 10 years, because I didn't smoke, I didn't start smoking. So I was 37 years old when I quit smoking. But when I was, what was I going to say? I forgot what I was going to say. I get distracted that way sometimes. But when I quit smoking, I never in a million years thought I'd be able to do it, let alone do it on the first try of trying to quit smoking, because I had never tried quitting to smoke again. Oh, I know what I was going to say, that how I didn't start smoking until I was 27 years old. I only started smoking because I was so obese. I was over 300 pounds. I was trying to find ways to make it so that I could diet, that I could lose weight. And I thought if I was smoking, I would be preoccupied by smoking, that I wouldn't eat as much, but it didn't do the trick. It just gave me another bad habit. But I was very surprised at how well that patch worked for me, right? A call to worship. I'm trying to figure out what the guys are yapping about. A memorial of the Holocaust. Yeah, no, like one day, oh, I know Owen's story a little bit. I know a little bit of Owen's story, and he's struggled. He's struggled, and he's managing so great for what he's gone through, for what he's witnessed, right? Right? And it's not like his own survival, but in a way his own survival, because surviving and being a witness to something that had so much destruction is powerful. It's powerful, and it comes with guilt and shame, because you wonder, right, why not me? It didn't happen to me. Why do I have these emotions? Why do I have this system that's so traumatized right now, when I got to survive, right? Yeah, but maybe one day Owen will share his story. That's not a story for me to tell. But again, yeah, I don't know what you guys are talking about, but yeah, Owen knows if he's talking on this subject. Owen knows exactly what he's talking. You could trust that he's talking from experience, and he knows what he's talking about on these subjects. Yeah, what kind of holidays are coming up? We got Labor Day coming up in September, in the beginning of September. I think it's the week before that, before I go on holidays, though, that we've got a little bit of time off, right? 3 days off. but I am looking forward to this trip. I might go kite flying tomorrow. If I can get a couple of loads of laundry done tonight, because basically it's just a couple of loads of laundry and finish up the last few dishes that I have in the sink. I've got to work on this topic, which is communication, impact, right? Influence. This is the topic that I'm contributing today. A little bit of student and teacher kind of aspect. So it's going to be deep and it's going to be sitting there for me to look at. And on top of that, like I might take a couple of lessons in, right? So I won't be standing at this board like, 24/7 or anything. But I also have this one here, which is also a whiteboard, but it's a little one that I could just have on my desk here. And I can take notes, right, as I'm taking in lessons. And then I can add it to my whiteboard, right, to the lesson. I want to make this trip really special. I really want to see if I can combine my interests and make something amazing of it, right? I know I'm not a great editor, but I'm going to come up for solutions for my problems, for my obstacles that are in my way. And I know if I move towards my goals, that some of those obstacles and some of those problems that are in my way will be taken care of, because that's how I believe, right? This is how I float through my life, right? Just trusting that everything's going to be okay. A little bit of adapt and conquer, a little bit of ride the waves, right? A little bit of plowing through and just trusting everything's going to work out just fine. And on the norm, it usually does. I mean, it's going to be a struggle anyway. Why not enjoy the ride? Why not enjoy the process? And I know what I do is not everybody's cup of tea. But you have your own kind of cup of tea that you enjoy. You all have a gift. You all have something amazing, right? Just like the way that Andrew comes to the table and he has his amazing encyclopedia brain that can come up with these answers right off the top of his head, right? How David Lopez, he comes in from Mexico, and Franciscan monk, and he comes in and he blesses us and sends us blessings and goodwill. Right? How Owen comes in and in his presence and in his experience and in his understanding of people's emotions and how they can get mixed up, how frustration and depression and sadness, right? How all these emotions can get mixed up. And even though, right, he struggles with them, he can see it in other people's, and he's a great supporter, right? Yeah. And you guys know that too, right? And then Angry Birds, he comes in and he yibber yabbers and he stays in communications. And, he comes in and he's having conversations with Andrew, and Andrew's keeping up, right? And Angry Birds is enjoying the company, right? And who knows how anybody is taking in any of the information. You pick and choose, right? The content and the information. You could be doing your housework. Maybe just a little bit of it sinks in. Maybe none of it sinks in. But it's just us keeping company, knowing that we're moving forward anyway. We're still going to be here tomorrow, right? Why not make this the most enjoyable, comfortable, pleasant ride as we possibly can? We're going to be here anyway, right? And it's the company we keep, right? It's paying attention to the people that are in our circles, that are with us, right? That have given us that attention, right? Not to ignore it, not to make it all about netting in the new people, bringing in the new subscribers, right? How many followers and subscribers? It's not about that, right? It's about the people who show up, how we hold each other up, how we move forward, because we do that, right? We all add something to the plate. All of us do. Well, okay, everybody. That went fast. Didn't that go fast this week? I have to stop it at 9 o'clock because you guys know me. I could just keep going. I could just keep yapping all night long. but we're going to do some laundry. We're going to get ahead of the game. I'm going to see if I can, I don't want to start those videos that I'm doing only until I get that lavalier, that microphone that my niece is ordering for me now, right? I went off and I dropped that money off at her house so that she has it and that maybe she'll get that ordered in for me. Hopefully that comes in next week, and then we'll go fly a kite. We'll have a chit chat. We'll talk a little bit about this trip I'm going on, where I am in the progress of it all. And yeah, maybe we'll start the series. Maybe I'll take you guys with me when I go to the Ideas Mill, the Arts Mill, right? And show you guys these big computers that I'll get to work on when I'm editing my video. I don't like editing. I like being creative, knowing what kind of music to pick, where to cut, right? Where to add in, right? I know how to catch a feeling of a video. I know what kind of feeling I want to put out there to you guys, right? So I want to kind of get as close to that as I can, but sometimes my imagination works a lot better than the actual practicality of the technical part of it. But right, it's the effort. Okay, everybody, that's it for tonight. I guess we'll see each other next Sunday, and it will be here at 7:30. If you guys want to email me, you're welcome to it. Like, email me. Let's have a chit chat, because as we get to know each other, I will share with you a little bit more, as we move forward in this adventure that we're going to go on, right? Oh, numbers lock, caps lock. Do that, and we'll do that. And we're putting that there. Let's see if that works out. Yeah, it does. Yay. Okay, everybody. That's it for tonight. We'll see you next Sunday. And I'm just saying goodnight to everyone right here. I'm just punching it in. It's just because it's starting to get dark now and I can't see my keyboard. How about an exclamation mark? How about 2? Okay, everybody. Have a great night, and we'll see you next week. Bye-bye.